Gupta, and we are Read A Kitaab, and we are extremely delighted to have today with us Anand Neelakantan, the author of The Asura Way, and we are going to talk to him about some amazing stuff, and also, about this book. Also, I would want to, give a huge shout out to Jeco Publications. We are super excited to be, a part of Jeco Publications, and doing this, this power talk with Anand Neelakantan today, and extremely delighted to have, him with us. I think he's just joined us, so I'll take him online. Before that, just to tell you that Jeco is one of the first publishers in India to publish the paperbacks in English. So we are, Read A Kitaab is extremely excited to be a part of this conversation. And I am just going to add, a few people who are just joining us and who will be a part with me. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have sent a request and I think we will have Anand here shortly. I am also trying to add Neeraj and Anurag who will be a part of this conversation with me today. Hi Anand, how are
Hi, hi,
you?
hi. I'm doing good. Hi, how are you?
So good to see you after the Bangalore Literature Festival, and meeting you here is such a delight. And welcome back to Read A Kitab. I think we are talking to you for the second time now for your
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
So
Thank you.
so glad to have
Always a
you.
pleasure.
So I will just have the two of my fellow friends to be here. So allow me a second. I'll just add them, and then we start. Okay,
Yeah.
I think Instagram does some glitch at times. So yeah. Okay, so I have with me. Hi Anurag. Hi Neeraj.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
hi, hi,
Anand.
Hi, hi.
hi,
Good evening, Anand.
hi, 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 Anand.
So, so
Hi,
I
hi,
was
Anand.
telling Anand that it is such a pleasure to have him again. At Read A Kitab after the first conversation that we had almost, I guess, 2 years back, and what a fantastic time we had with you at the Bangalore Literature Festival when we were talking, Anurag and I. So we were just discussing this, that oh my God, that we are again going to talk about this new book. So super
Thank you.
excited.
Thank you.
Okay. Just pause for a moment. Yeah. So, very happy to have you here, and also a huge shout out to Jeco Publications, who's been pioneer in kind of publishing such great work, and also like I said before, but I would like to tell once again people that Jeco Publications is one of the first paperback publishers in India in the English language. So yeah, with that said. I am going to start this on a firecracker note with you today, Anand. I want to know what is the age to become an Asura or an Asuri. So, and why
One thing
I asked
is,
this.
you can be a born Asura like me, or you can convert.
So hi everyone, thank you for joining us. In the meanwhile, Anand is just setting up. A great hi to all of you, and we are going to have some power conversation here. So stay tuned.
Is it better now without
Yeah,
the
yeah,
echo?
perfect.
Okay.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah, so I'll come back to my question, and I want to start this chat with a firecracker question, like I said, and I want to ask you that what is the age to become an asura or an asuri? And why I ask this question is because all through our lives, since the time we are born, we are conditioned in a certain way. We are talked about mythology in a certain way, and then one fine day, Anand Neelakantan comes up with his book Asura and blows the world, and he glorifies Ravan, and he gives you all the logical reasons behind it, and then the world, kind of changes. And then he comes with this book, The Asura Way, and he talks about why you should be, proudy, why you should be angry, why you should be, doing all those things which you were asked not to do in the first front. So I want to know when should, one become an Asura? What is the age?
Any age you can become Asura, or you can be born as an Asura like me, or any age you can convert to Asurahood, as I said. Uh, See, basically, we became like what we were when we stopped being Asuras. We were conditioned. Because see, there was a kind of I may even say it is a result of the British era also, if I may go into that. Because British, when they conquered India, at that time India was far ahead than the Europe in many things. But Europe, the Renaissance was just happening. So if you take 17th century, 1750s and all, Indian GDP was much higher. Britain actually overtook India in GDP by only 1890s, almost
Yeah.
130 years it took. So they propagated this theory that India is a spiritual civilization. Indians are always inwardly looking people, and they are all only worried about their spiritual growth. So, and we also started selling this exotica. So all the things which went from India was always yoga, spirituality. A lot of gurus went. The problem is India had always been a very materialistic civilization. Look around. See how all the gods are decked. They are decked in all kind of jewelry. All the temples have so much. They are all based on wealth, so much wealth creation. And we might be one of the few civilizations which has two gods for wealth. One is Mahalakshmi, one is Kuber. One goddess is there,
Yeah,
one god is there for wealth, and we pray for wealth. We even bribe the gods for wealth. So we have
absolutely.
always been a materialistic civilization right from the beginning. Spirituality also was a part of it. What the Britishers did was to strip us out of all the materialistic thought, and we started believing in this story of being being meek, being humble. So last 200 years, or perhaps more than that, Indian parents have always taught the kids to be not to question anything, obey, obey the elders. Just because they are elders, you should obey them. Just because somebody is guru, you should obey them. This is our culture. Lot of misconceptions have come about our culture. This is Asura Way is trying to bring back the original way in which the Indian civilization existed for thousands of years. So if you see, everything is a debate in India. It was never a commandment. Always they used to, Upanishad is a debate, Gita is a debate. Most of
Absolutely.
the books, songs, even spirituality is a debate. When Shiva and Parvati are meeting, that also is a debate about Shiva itself. When Krishna and Arjuna are meeting, that also is a debate.
Absolutely.
So that questioning nature, the rationalism, everything we lost, and we became a very meek creatures just praying to God. So that is why I'm giving examples of you have to choose. Ravana also achieved moksha and using the same logic. And the bhakt of Krishna, Sudama, all he got was one house and a few cows. Right? So you have to
Yeah,
choose whether to be a blind bug or to be someone who will stand up for what they believe and work for it. Come what me. This is in crux
absolutely.
is the Asura way that and all the I talk about various misconceptions which has crept in our society, like being contented,
Yeah,
No,
never
that's an
being
amazing.
jealous, never being angry. All those things have been thought, and we are taken that to an extreme that we are now afraid to question our rulers, we are afraid to question our parents, the teachers, or anyone. The rebellion, India is a society, India was a society of 1 million rebellions. Now we don't have any rebels. Everybody
yeah,
is conforming to everything. Somebody says,
right.
Yes.
everybody follows like ducks.
Yes, and thanks for sharing the rationalism and the misconceptions which you want to address as part of this book. I would like to also know the tipping point. What was the tipping point? And I'm very intrigued to understand why you started this idea. I have to write a book on this particular topic, and what is the target audience which you want to cater to?
See, I have been writing from the alternate point of view. I write from all points of view. It's a misconception that I write only from alternate point of view. All my books are from alternate point of view, but I do a lot of television. I do
Yeah,
OTT films. So there, like now my Srimad Ramayana is coming in Sony Live. There, Ravan is the antagonist, and I'm telling the story from Ram's side itself. I'm trying to explain it. I have written the many Ramayanas in Audible where I am exploring all sides of Ramayana as a non-fiction, which will be coming as a book soon. So, and I had written Sita's perspective, Ramayana, Siya Ke Ram in Star
yes,
TV. I did
yes,
the very devotional series of Mahabali Hanuman. At the same time, I was also writing Vanara, where Bali is the hero and Sugriv is a kind of antagonist. I had written Asura, I had written Ajaya, Duryodhana's Mahabharata,
yes,
Bahubali series, of course. So the idea was always to see everything from different viewpoints, and that is how I was taught in my life by my the traditionally. If we learn these things, no, they always teach it like that. When we learn things from only books or through television series or these kind of things, many people's familiarity with Ramayana is the original Ramayana saga is Ramayana. What
Yeah.
happens? Uh, what happens is the debate is not there. It's a very passive medium. It's a problem of the
Yes.
medium, and it has to cater to everyone. So there is no space for questioning, thinking, reflecting. And when you are reading a book, also you are alone with the book. Whatever I want to do, but if you are learning these things through somebody telling them through an active debate, that's how I got familiarized with this. So in my village, people used to. It's a tradition there. People used to talk about these stories. Others will question it. There will be a this doubt clearing session. So you get to know from various sides the same story, and that died off, especially when the Bhakti era started. So
Yeah.
what happened in my life also, a typical middle class family, like most of us, the value system was always obey, always don't ask any questions. Why it is like this? It should be like this. But fortunately, my father used to encourage because he still belonged to that traditional style. So up to an extent, at least in case of Ramayana, Mahabharata and all, he used to always say to think and debate and try to find out the answers why it is written like that. Later, I forgot all these lessons because as I grew up in the college, they train you the same way. When you go to a job, they train you the same way, and the life became miserable. Only when I was hitting my early 30s, mid 30s, that I decided there is no life in this. I'm just becoming a corporate slave and just trying to live the life what other people want me to live, and I'm not being an asura.
So we can say that 30s, the mid 30s is the ideal age to become an asura.
So people can do it much earlier itself. Why waste 10 years of your life or 15 years of your life? You can do it right from the college itself. I
from the
wasted that time doesn't mean that everybody should waste that much time.
Yeah.
yeah.
and
So
and,
so
and we
it's
can and we can miss hitting the pillows of our boss on the on the
although I do have a question regarding that as well. That was very fascinating. I have a question in the spirit of debate and looking at things critically as well. So there was this popular meme that I saw where there's this monkey who's basically eating a lot of bananas, and then instead of eating the bananas, it is just starting to hoard it up. Right. So if ever such a thing happens, scientists would generally go and investigate like what's wrong with monkey, why is it not sharing it with others. When it happens with human beings, right? When we start hoarding, we actually don't question. So in your book, very fascinatingly, you have actually kind of I wouldn't say glorified, but you have actually justified capitalism. And I have actually come in contact with a lot of artists and lot of writers from the USA, especially, who are now looking at India from exactly those exotic points like spirituality and all of those things. And here you are, an Indian writer who is actually saying that we are materialistic and capitalism. So how does this contrarian thing happen? Is it like the grass is greener on the other side, or is this what it is?
Not, it's not that. See, when we were materialistic, we were those eras America, right? Everybody used to come here to study. Everybody, this had the one of the except only perhaps China could have somewhat rivaled us. India and China dominated the world as far as scientific, technical, and materialistic progress is concerned for almost 3,000, 4,000 years. We are coming back to the default stage. Only the last 300, 400 years, when the scientific revolution happened, the gravity shifted to Europe. The gravity of rationalistic thinking and materialism shifted to Europe. And we were left with only spirituality. They took away all our materials. And we were left with only spirituality. So some smart gurus here, they started selling it. I have full appreciation for them. They
That's
started
Oh,
that's
selling
a
this and
that's a
making a
hard
lot of money. They
hitting
are
that's
smart
a
people.
deep
Only thing is that As long as they bring foreign money and cheat the foreigners, I am okay with it. We should not fall in the trap. That's the only thing. So as long as they go there, get some all these Americans and Africans and make them sing and dance and they contribute for our temples and all, I'm absolutely fine. That's a fantastic Asura way of doing things. I have full appreciation for all these gurus who sell everything from skin whitening cream to yoga poses to ancient scriptures to everything. I have a lot of appreciation for them. They are the real Asuras and I love them. If we can pull such
So
a trick off, then
yeah, so
we
there is your
do
answer
it.
for cultural appropriation also. I mean, like, if it is bringing in you money, please go ahead and do it.
Definitely, that's Asura Way. So they are the living demonstration of Asura Way. So I'm not at all criticizing them. I'm sending a great note of appreciation for them, and they are practicing exactly what I am preaching.
They are not contented in life.
They are not contented in life. If they are contented in life, they'll sit in Himalaya and meditate. If they are searching for their inner peace and all, no? They are building huge ashrams. They are selling toothpaste to whatnot, to bikinis, everything they are selling. Why not? So it's a
I
true
just I
asuras
just
and
hope
this.
that we are not banned after this.
I'm not taking any names. I'm telling generally there are a lot of asuras among us, and the more asuras we get, the more prosperous the country will become. And it is always better. We don't want to live as this poor spiritual country, the otherworldly country, which has one snake charmer and two cows. We don't want that. We want to have the Suvarna Lanka kind of feeling here. No, that's what we are all striving for. So the more the asuras, the merrier. So they have chosen their path. They have chosen their path. We should also choose our own path to make. India always celebrated. See, India always celebrated wealth. India always celebrated fashion. India always celebrated sex. We wrote Kama Sutra, right?
Yeah,
And Kama Sutra is not just about the sensual pleasure. Kama Sutra, if you read Kama Sutra, it is a manual for living happily through a lot of things. So it gives great stress on aesthetics. It gives great stress on art. It gives great
absolutely.
stress on passion. So it is such a live book of great living. And this is something which this country produced. Read
Yeah,
Panchatantra, you find that it has a better manual than the Art of War or a better manual than even Chanakya. Panchatantra is a story. At surface, it looks like a kid's tale. And this is what they were teaching kids in that era. Remember it. No, just go and read the Panchatantra in original, not the 50 rupee, 100 rupee one which you get from the food
yeah,
stall.
yeah,
Read the real Panchatantra and you find that every animal is escaping its enemies and winning through using various tricks. So this is what
true.
Krishna also demonstrated in Mahabharata, right? He won it in the typical Asura way. The Duryodhana side, the Kaurava side, who were all following the rules of war, they lost it. After
Absolutely.
giving a fantastic Gita, what did Krishna do? He advised his people, Arjuna and whichever side he was, the Pandavas was siding, and they had a great demonstration of the Asura way. You lie to your guru, tell that Ashwatthama Hadak Kunjara, because you have to win. You
Yeah,
bring you bring somebody that Bhishma Pitama has promised that he won't fight. So you bring the Shikandi and kill him. You create an artificial eclipse and make
yeah,
the other side believe that the sun has set and kill Jayadratha.
yeah,
You shoot Karna from the back. I'm not,
absolutely.
I'm not judging them, no, but this is Asura way.
This is
What
the
else?
Asura way I was going to
This is
say.
Asura
Yes.
Way.
This is Asura way. So this is what they are teaching us. God lesson we have learned. So when we were practicing all these lessons, like what Chanakya did, Chanakya did all these things. That's why he was able to make the Mauryan
Deep mode.
Yeah,
Empire, establish the Mauryan
yeah.
Empire. Chhatrapati Shivaji did the same thing if you really see. He
Yes.
didn't go and fight and die in the battlefield, showing his valor. He used the Vaknaka, the tiger's claw,
Yeah,
and showed the way. This is what the Cholas did. This is what the Travancore did to defeat the Dutch.
Absolutely.
The Dutch War, the Battle of Colachil, which is more thankfully the way they teach history, many people beyond the South may not be familiar of it. But the Battle of Colachil in the mid 1750s, 1754, if I remember correctly, Battle of Colachil changed the history of the world. We would have been speaking in the Dutch language, perhaps,
True.
had that battle had not happened. So Dutch East India Company was the biggest force, biggest company, richest company in the world. They were ruling half the world. They were far, far bigger than the British East India Company. This is before the Battle of Plassey. And the Dutch East India Company had already conquered Indonesia. They had conquered Sri Lanka. And they decided to attack Travancore,
Yeah.
small kingdom in the south of Kerala. Only the present day Kerala's half of Kerala it had ruled, and Kanyakumari and a few neighboring districts. They attacked Travancore, and the Travancore decisively defeated them. After that, it was only in 1905 when Japan defeats the Russia, an Asian
Yes.
power, and defeated an European power. So Dutch were so big, uh, we can't even imagine how big we were because this is we are now far ahead in the history
Yeah.
of British Empire. But at that time, Dutch were very big. And how did they defeat? They used all kind of design tricks. They bribed the captain of the Dutch.
Yeah.
Usually we hear the stories the other way around, no? That
Yes,
Yeah.
some
that's right.
guidance
That's right.
goes and Indians get defeated. But here you have a story of the other way around. They didn't have enough cannons, so they cut coconut trees, painted them to look like cannons, and that's overestimated that these people have so many cannons, and they
Yeah.
brought them to a place where they can sink. Sink their ships, and the Dutch Armada had sunk, and the Dutch were thrown out of India. They used the Asura way to do it. But if you go with the way in which the medieval era started teaching,
Yeah.
you end up like great warriors who go out, fight, fight righteously, and die, and all the women jump into the
Johar.
Sati.
The
Johar
Johar.
they do.
Right.
For people will sing about their praises because they are all brave men. They did everything right. But ultimately, you keep your honor, but you lose your kingdom.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas many of the um, so where did this kind of thoughts come from? This is
Yeah.
a product of that medieval era when we were slowly forgetting and getting into the bhakti
Yeah.
mode.
But
Yeah.
God will take care of us.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
see the empires before that, if you see the Mauryan Empire, if you see the Gupta Empire, if you see the Chalukyas and Pulikeshis and Pallavas, and in South it still continued until the British, until the
Yeah.
1800s. All the empires continued for 2000 years, 2500 years, because they were using what Chanakya had thought, what Gita had thought. So there is this saying, no, had the Indians properly read the Gita and taken the part which is useful from it. There are problems with Gita. As an Asura, I will say there are problems with Gita. If you take it literally, is that you cannot do anything without expecting anything. This
Yeah.
Nishkama Karma is a scam.
Yeah.
wow.
Sakama karma is the only thing you can do because what is you read Gita properly, what happens is a lot of gurus will say otherwise because that's a business. Let them do it. Gita is a best-selling book, and interpretations of Gita is a great billion-dollar business. So let it happen. I am happy for them. But when we are understanding it, the first part of the Gita, Krishna talks about only materialistic things. He says that to Arjuna, you fight, then you will get the kingdom, everybody will praise you, you will get a lot of fame, and even if you die, he gives a post-dated check like any religion, right? Any religion gives a post-dated check on an imaginary bank. So they give a post-dated check saying that you will get the Swarga, you will go there, enjoy, have a lot of fun there. So suffer here so that you can have fun later. This is a scam which everybody plays. You know, when you are studying also, they say suffer now. After 10th standard, na, sab kuch theek ho jayega. 10th exam is toughest one. After that, everything will be all right. Then comes the entrance exam, JEE, whatever. After that, life is set. You get into a IIT. Then you have to do IAM. And after that, you get a job and everything will be all right. You should get married. Then life is going to be great. And by the time you understand everything was a scam, you are 30.
So this is hitting very close home now. Now that you're saying it's 10, then it is 12. So,
This
in fact,
scam is
Ekta,
taking place for thousands of years.
per thousand. It's a scam. I completely agree. And there is a question by one of our author friends also in the comment section. If I can ask, actually take the liberty and asking the question. So Sonali actually is asking that how do you then handle the criticism, because you are now talking about the so-called all the negative things. So I'll probably try to read her question to you. But the crux of the matter was like how do you handle that criticism, because you're talking about being greedy, being proud, and all of those things. And this is coming from our author friend.
And also to top it up, I just wanted to add here that in such times, when the country is in a different state of mind, with different religions and different discriminations that are going on, and lot of what I mean. So we're not taking any names, but yeah. So but Anand
No,
Neelakantan is
I will
unabashedly talking
always
about all
advise.
the
Yeah, please, sorry.
yeah, so I'm saying, but Anand Neelakantan is unabashedly talking and smashing all the things that people have learned and people believe in. So this is actually a very hard, these are very hard hitting facts. So when we read Asura also, it does not tell you that you just blindly follow everything, but they also, but it also talks about that you have to logically think and then do it. So the same question that Neeraj was asking from on Sonali's behalf, that how do you handle criticism? It must be rampant.
Asuras need a thick skin. That is first thing. However, I skin that will save a rhinoceros. Second, you have to go by what people do or what people have done rather than what people preach and say. One is a safe
Hmm.
space. One
Yeah,
is you look around how all the political parties are behaving. They
yeah,
talk something, but what are they doing? They're following the Asura way. They buy
true.
the everyone, not just one. No, this has been happening for years, thousands of years. Whichever form of government you have, democracy, autocracy, uh, kleptocracy, which is a constant form of government. All kind of governments are happening. No, right? Everyone they work for power. They give big principles, but every one of them, even those we call as great men, everyone, some way or other, they use this Asura way. Always. They buy MLAs and MPs, lot of resort owners make money. I run a resort, but nobody has come so far. But I wish some MLAs and MPs smile uh, and hide the beautiful resort in Wayanad. So I'm just giving a sales pitch also here. So any MLA MPs are watching next time. When you want to hide them, I have a beautiful place there inside the Wayanad hills. Uh, So they buy, they talk about elections. Earlier they used to capture booths. Now
Yeah,
people would have become sophisticated. That's a separate thing. But because technology grows, all these things also, the Asura way also grows in the same way. So things what they do is what we have to look at and not things what they say. So people, gurus or the political leaders talk about simple living. See whether they are living simply
yeah,
or whether they are what kind of simplicity they are doing. If at all they are using simplicity, are they using it as a tool? Because in Asura was talking that don't reject even these advices of being humble, being not being greedy. You can project all these images. That's what good asuras do. The real asuras are the people who are able to hide this and able to project this image of I am a simple man, I am so humble, I respect. You see this quality in a lot of big businessmen. And this catches a human chord, no, because they are really playing to what have been taught to you. And how they live I've gone to many of these gurus, huh? Across many of these gurus, God men, God women, whatever. I love them. That's why I go to them, and I I am really fascinated by the opulence and the guts to talk. And you're talking about the thick skin, the thick skin to talk about lead a contented life. They are not contented. They need bigger and bigger and bigger programs, bigger and bigger and bigger temples or churches or mosque or whatever, or any religion for that matter. They they all talk something and act something. So when people direct criticism on me, I'll just show this mirror to them. Look at your society around. What are they doing? Who are ruling? Who have been ruling always? Who are coming at the top? Those people who follow this, that who are never being condemned, who always know how to be angry and use anger as a tool. I'm not saying be angry always like a madman. You have to know. So I'm giving examples of how Chanakya used anger as a tool, how
Correct.
Gandhiji used it as a tool, how every leader has used it. I am taking stories and things from history and telling this. Envy.
So, sorry to interrupt, but just wanted to ask: is it only me that for whom Anand's voice is cracking, or is there a disturbance?
No,
I'm I'm
I can hear
I'm able to
clearly.
hear it
Okay,
Yeah,
clearly.
okay,
I'm able to hear you. Yes, continue,
okay.
please.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
So
Sorry to
basically,
interrupt you.
no issue, no issue. So basically, how what people do, what is winning across and around, that's what we should learn from, right? So there were
Absolutely.
actually this group of philosophers in India, uh, right from Ramayana and Mahabharata times, they were there. Historically, they were there during Buddha's time, they were there during Chanakya's time, and they were respected and they were called rishis. So the Charvakis, Lokayatas, the Ajivikas, the maximum number of rationalistic and atheistic literature in the world is in the three classical languages from India. Sanskrit,
Hmm.
mainly in Sanskrit and Tamil, a bit
Yes.
in Pali also. But mainly in
Hmm.
Sanskrit and Tamil, you get a lot of counter questioning and atheistic and rationalistic literature and
Yeah.
even agnostic literature. All these things got suppressed. We think atheism, rationalism, agnosticism as something related to Marxism. Marxism, the rationalists who are there in the present days who drive their this thing from Marxism, they are not equipped to handle. They are
Hmm.
not equipped to handle the complexity of Indian religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and all. Because the Marxist rationalism or atheism grew, or Richard Dawkins and these people, all these people are there. No, all their arguments grew against the Abrahamic religions. The
Yeah.
Abrahamic
Hmm.
religions are simplistic in nature, and to counter them also is very simple.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
That's right.
for a complex narrative with a lot of freedom of thought like India, you need a homegrown argument to counter this. And we always had a homegrown argument, which got forgotten. So you see them in Ramayana, you see them in Mahabharata. So I use them in Asura, Jay and all. You see them even in the Shankaracharya's Advaita. Even Buddha is a rebellion against the religion, right?
Yeah.
He was against rituals. He gave an alternate path. So every rishi who has come, at least until the medieval era, have been offering alternate path, and that's why we have so many rishis. So you get Basava, somebody like Basava in Karnataka, who rejects most of the idol worship and gives an alternate way of Shaivism. You have, these are all big, big saints, great saints who showed the path.
Yeah.
He rebels against casteism, he rebels against the suppression of women, and gives a very logical and a theological reasoning and starts a movement. In the last century, Vivekananda Guru in Kerala, he was a great rebel. Like that, for me, Vivekananda is a rebel who brought a totally different view of looking at things. Gandhiji is a rebel. Gandhi's thing, if you see, he went against the prevalent caste system and everything in his own way.
Yeah.
You can now sit
Yes.
and criticize, but that time the way he took it on was a brave thing. What in his
True.
own way, any of them could be and should be criticized. So one of the exercises that they used to do in ancient India, including the Buddhist monasteries, was to criticize their guru itself and the guru's preaching itself. So criticize Buddha and Buddhist and speeches was also a part of Buddhist ashram or
Hmm.
Buddhist monastery practice.
Hmm.
Same was true about various Vedic practices also. So if you are an Advaiti and you are a disciple of Shankaracharya, you have to first learn to criticize Shankaracharya, and Shankara, it was the duty of the guru to convince the disciple,
Yeah.
and then only you will become a disciple. So Mandana Mishra becomes the disciple of Shankaracharya only
Shankaracharya.
after a huge debate, and he
Yeah.
becomes the next Shankaracharya. So this was the culture of India. Where have we lost it? We became the obedient clerks that the British wanted us to become. So all of us have a clerical mentality. Now, nothing wrong with the clerks. They are very important, but this is what British trained us for.
Yeah.
So what two things happened when the Islamic we took we took many from Islam, some good, some bad. That's what I cultural interest. But one thing what we took was the concept of God, the heaven, the hell, and all from Islam. Because if you really think the karma theory is correct, then you can't have right, double punishment. You do something wrong in this life, you get the karma bala in your next life. Then what the hell is the hell doing in between?
Yeah.
Mm. That's right.
In 7th, it's not 7th century, 10th century to 13th century, Garuda Purana was written. Roughly, the scholars differ, they can always differ. Garuda Purana is a very fantastic book. When somebody is dead, the Pandit comes and reads it, nobody understands, so there is no issue. But if you try to understand the Garuda Purana, it is a very colorful thing of how a lot of things are there, but one of the most colorful part is about after dying, unless you pay the Godan and other things and you don't bribe the priest so that and give a cow to Brahmins, you won't be able to cross the river of Vairani.
Yeah.
Holding the cow's tail, you are crossing the river of Vairani. All fantastic tales they are. They are the perfect asuras. All perfect tales they are made to earn money. And there is a laundry list of punishment that you will be fried, you will be put in tandoor, you will be bitten by mad dogs, you will be stamped by buffaloes. A lot of them are, lot of the narakas are defined. So you do a thing, this naraka concept, this hell concept of this kind is very Abrahamic in nature. Because for them, there is a judgment. That's a way to do something bad. You go there and you get punishment in the hell. Who doesn't do all these things, they go to heaven. But in Indian concept, heaven is for devas. Manushas go to heaven. Only thing you can do is you can get moksha. That was the original thing. In the not in the atheistic, rationalistic way, but in the theistic way, in the things which talk about the arctic way, what you call. So that's one of the methods. There are differences, of course, because these are all deeper topics, but it's simpler. So once you do a karma, first of all, you do a karma, you are caught in the cycle of karma, whether it is Buddhism, Jainism, or Hinduism. I do a bad karma, I will get the punishment or reward in the life. In between, also add a hell. Already you have been fried in the tandoor, right? Then what are you going, which
Yeah.
karma you are going to get in the next
Heaven.
judgment? But this became scam, no? You can threaten people saying that you will be fried and you will be kicked and you will be put in fire and snakes will bite you, mosquito will bite you, a lot of things they give. And what happens? To avoid that, you pay me money or
Hmm.
How? Give me dhan. And there was nobody to question it. Earlier they used to question. Slowly, the questioning went out. And what happened? We the absolute obedience to God. That's what Islam teaches. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But what happened? We got the worst of all worlds. Once this mixture happened, instead of getting the best of all worlds, we got the worst of all worlds. So what happened? We became otherworldly. We believed the world is a Maya from Hinduism. Second, we took the absolute, never questioned the God, never questioned the priest, never questioned Guru. That we took. So we became very obedient to the God, the priest, the rulers. So if rulers say otherwise, Janaka Sabha, Bharat Sabha in Ramayana and all, each action is questioned. The king is answerable to everyone. All those they become absolute monarchs from the time, and from that time our fall has started. So you take that, you take the heaven hell concept, the priest becomes very important. After that, the society stratified into various castes. You kept the caste system. You didn't take the brotherhood. So you get first of all worlds. Your caste system becomes rigid. Varna deteriorates to caste. Caste system becomes rigid. Discriminate against majority of people. You discriminate against women. Women's freedom goes for a six. You have to be always obedient. Wife has to always obey the husband. However, you get very idiotic stories added to the Puranas. Uh,
Absolutely.
and women's, women's position fall, people's position fall, and everyone with a lame horse comes from Central Asia and defeat us. The moment we forget the Asura Marga, got all these things, the absolute obedience came, no ahankar, no confidence. We don't use trickery or other things to defeat the enemy like how Chanakya or Krishna thought. You ended up to deserve it.
Yeah.
And whichever civilization, things like that have been ruled by others.
True. And Anand actually so rightly put, and also I wanted to ask you, like, in your book you have actually declared self-help books as pop philosophy. To a certain extent, don't you feel that the criticism will come to Asura Way also, because this book actually you have summarized such big concepts in such a small
I
part. So
don't
can we say
have any
that this is
problem.
a uh, yeah, so I just wanted to finish this. Can we say that this is just kind of a starting to a new six book series that is going to come by Anand Neelakantan, wherein he is going to talk about all of these elements in detail and tell people that this is how you got to become Asura. So I was just thinking that there is going to be a six series thing coming up, and we are
Definitely,
going
this
to
is just the beginning of it. My
yeah.
non-fiction series is the beginning of it. So I have of the 16 books, all 15 are fiction.
Fiction.
So that's the first non-fiction book. And I don't mind if somebody calls it pop philosophy,
Hmm.
because you know what? Uh, the Charvakas were called Lokayatas.
Hmm.
Hmm.
The people, the ones who are popular. Charvaka itself means somebody who talks in sweet tongue, who
Yeah.
talks what people want to hear actually. Because these Charvakis were never used to sell fear and temptation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, every religion or every scam, everything is a scam that in the future you will get good. Or if you do this, you are threatened also. If you don't study, then you will be, they give you all bad examples. You will be in the streets. With this only you uh, make the
Fear.
kids obey.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
religion infantilizes all of us. The corporate infantilizes all of us. They are
True.
They are treating us like kids and saying, if you don't do this, you are going to suffer. If you do this, I will give you a bonus. I will give you a group tour. You will give you a party. They're you have to look through why they are doing it, what they actually mean. So the Asura Way is a tool to enable you to just sharpen your thinking skills. and trying to go back what we lost over the last, say, 2000 years, last 1000 years perhaps. Go real India.
So true. And this is such an I think this is the most honest interview, one of the most honest interviews wherein Anand is just taking everybody left, right, center, and he's just telling, this is the way you got to follow this. You have to unlearn everything that you have learned so far. All that is nonsense. I will tell you how to live your life.
To be
Fantastic.
frank with you, when I was reading this book, Anand, it was like when I started going through it, I was totally shaken up in the first initial pages. Then you started giving facts from Ram, Krishna, Jesus, and things, and I said, okay, what should I do now? And then you gave a framework on the back of it. This is the process how you to think, and it was like, okay, now I can do something around it.
So there is an entire framework for everyone who has not yet read the book that we are talking about, the Asura Way. All those which is also published by Jacko Publication. And if you have not read the book, this is the time. Pick this book up, and I'm sure this is going to shake your mind. And lot of myths are burst. And every chapter begins with talking about the false false way, or
Advice.
the false advice that you were following till now. That was all false. Forget all of that. Clean your slate, and I'm going to tell you how you're going to follow the Asura Way. And at certain point in time, we actually feel that yes, this is how we have been living. It is just that we are not accepting it. And you've just kind of laid it out for everyone to interpret on their own, live their life on their own. And I think this is so much needed also in times wherein when we talk and when we go back and tell our parents, okay, we challenge this, we don't believe what happened to. So there are so many things we always tell that why did Krishna had so many wives, why Sita was never believed, why she had to go to an Agni Pariksha again and again and again. And there are so many answers to this that we get from our ancestors. But then comes all of these books which smashes patriarchy, smashes everything, and it's saying that don't believe that she was an abla nari, and this is how Sita was, and changes the perspective altogether.
Thank you. But this is how they in villages where these things are traditionally taught. This
Yeah.
is at least in our part of the teach. There is actually people sit on either side and debate this. So one
Yeah.
day, 3 days, this is like an entertainment in the temple. So the people, the scholars who are arguing for Duryodhan today, next week they will be sitting on the other side and arguing for Pandav. So that
Oh,
and
Fascinating.
other side. And they stress on the concept of karma, karmabala, dharma, means their purpose is teaching that, no? And there
Yeah.
is another group that even these are all random things. So all these things, I think there is a eighth book, exactly, name, which lists all the arguments, all the viewpoints that have happened so far in India. With atheism, agnosticism, anthroism, and this author has smacked each one of them. He doesn't say which way is right, but in each of these methods, he has poked holes.
oh.
Wow.
Very interesting.
So,
So yeah, I
Eh,
think Anurag.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was also kind of wondering that, now we have seen that with your book also, Asura, a lot of people have started looking at mythology, and, we have said that we are reinterpreting. And there are many people who are now, we have Chitra Banerjee, Diva Karuni, we have Sonali, Raje. We have so many people who are coming up and interpreting. So, on a serious note, I wanted to ask how important do you think is this reinterpretation process? Because you just now said that, they defended Duryodhana in one evening, and the very next evening they actually went and defended Pandava. So from your perspective, how important do you think this is? Very important, because I ask this question is because sometimes people are very puritan in their approach. They say that, oh, this is how it has been handed, and who are you to interpret? Who are you to challenge?
every, every there are so many
Uh,
Mahabharata. Even in Sanskrit language, is Valmiki Ramayana itself, there are three known variations and there are differences of another three. So there are around six variations of Valmiki Ramayana itself which differ from one to another. Mahabharata, so much difference that it took 50 years for the Bhandarkar Central Research Institute. Still, they could analyze only around 8 Indian languages, and still they couldn't even touch 10% of the way to bring the critical edition. There are so many. One thing is the southern version itself, so many of them, but the prominent southern version of Mahabharata differs from the southern version by around 27,000 slokas. 20 more, more than the length of entire Ramayana. So in southern Mahabharata, there is more than 30% is more than the northern version. Now, which one is fighting about the authenticity? Every state, every village has its own Ramayana and Mahabharata, and many differences are there, and each of them can claim to be authentic. So why so many of them? Because every era needed every geography is such a vast and diverse country, and there are a lot of Ramayans and Mahabharatas outside India also across Asia, and every one of them were written and interpreted to suit the times and the culture of that place of that era. So this era are coming because again it is going through that process because the system has changed. You cannot Tulasji's Ramayan, just for ease of it, you can't apply a, a lot of them you can apply. Universal values which always you can apply. But there could be certain things which is true about any part of Ramayana. The entire society. So you find as a simple age of Ram and Sita when they get married, it keeps changing depending on the era in which it was. It keeps changing place where it is written. So whichever places had this habit at that time, if the culture was to get the people married as children, the child marriage, there are 8 years, 12 years, 13 years, different versions come. Whichever cultures which never had the child marriage concept, their marriage is 21 years, 24 years, depending on that. Now, if when I am showing intelligence, they are not a story. Not, not Gandhi or 12, just one back, who fought for got married in the early, much younger than that, and now he can go to jail. So the entire thing is from that era, and just example of only the age, but other values, what those Ramayans will be, or the Mahabharata or any Purana will be propagating, might not be suitable for, and it requires interpretation. That is why.
Yeah. I think Anurag, you also wanted to ask about the writing methodology because we were talking a lot about it. So
Yeah, I just wanted to check about like what if you can provide some insights on the writing process when you were researching on this particular part, the Asura Way. You have touched upon it like since childhood you had the debates, but how you started writing this book and what was the process you followed? Because again, as Ekta highlighted, we think and we look forward to have one individual book on each of those six elements, but how you have concised it into this 200 or 250 pages book, I would like to know more about it.
Basically, writing fiction is different. Fiction, I imagine what it is. I see a picture. Just write it down. It's like commentary for me. I see each scene as a picture to picture. But when I'm writing non-fiction, it's more about logical thinking. So you use whatever you have learned as a traditionally they teach you debating. This is what you learn. Shastra, they you learn about Purva Paksha and Paksha. First you state something, then you destroy it, then you state a proposal. Then that is how traditionally they teach you. So you are exposed to it, no? It is something which will come naturally. It's a training, actually. By reading a lot of books, this can naturally, we will, without even knowing, most of us survived it. Provided we read a lot of books which are from various points of view.
Yes.
Never read
Yes.
the same kind of books. So, if you, for example, if you are going to read about Israel and Palestine issue, you will have to read not just a book written by a Palestinian or just, but you have to read Israeli book and a Palestinian book and somebody. There is nobody neutral in the world, but somebody who is at least claiming to be neutral. They will attempt to be neutral.
Yeah.
That goes with the book. So then that is always recommended. This person for a particular ideology or religion, political party, still you require to hear all the sides so that you can find tune and serve your bosses much better and earn your income and in the right.
That is a great piece of advice.
So I think
You
Anand,
said it
this has
like
been such
it
a
is.
yeah. And this is such fascinating. I think we can go on talking to you all day, and it will never get over because there is so much to talk to. But I mean, I didn't realize we are already 1 hour up, talking to you. When I see it now, I was like, okay. But yeah, definitely, Anand, there has been so much fan following that you have, and people, see your serials that you're writing, the screenwriting that you're doing, which is so fabulous, and you are being busting so many myths. We actually need such kind of things. So one thing that I would want to ask you, that you would want to pass on a message to the readers of the community, Read A Kitab, and all the readers across the world, that anything that you would want to talk about.
Basically, this message was also meant for that. No, read across, read from various points of view. Don't when people come to me and said they have read Asura, I said, okay, have you read the original Ramayana? Go
Hmm.
and read it.
Yeah.
If somebody says Ramayana, those, I will always say, okay, read other versions of Ramayana also, and especially since I am also marketing myself, I'll say, do read Asura, do read Vanara, do read Valmiki. Because unless you know the context of what I am talking, no, then half the fun is gone. So you have to read from whichever way you read widely and deeply. Both are important. Quality and quantity is important. Quantity is very important. As much
So yeah, thank you so much, Anand, for being with us and talking to us. A very quick rapid fire we want to do with you. So I just wanted to ask you, who is your favorite author? I mean, I know it is very difficult, but some of the favorite authors that you want to talk
my
about.
favorite author is Anand Neelakantan, and being an Asura, I will take that.
I was so expecting this answer. I was so expecting this answer. So yes. And that is the Asura Way, friends. So yeah, I'm not going to ask which is your favorite book because I know the answer. So yeah. But having said
But
that, it was such a pleasure to yeah.
jokes apart, Vyasa any day. Of course, I like a lot of from Tolstoy to Dickens to Joseph Heller to so many of them are there. P.G. Woodhouse. Uh, uh, Two people I will say specifically. One is Vyasa, other is Bhasa. Because Bhasa is the one who in second century, third century started writing a rebellious take on Urubanga. Urubanga viewpoint, the first one, 2300 years ago. He wrote Panjab from Mahabharata Bharata, solved the issue. Pradhima Nada, from my point of view, Asa is one great writer who is loud and stated in Kerala. Even now, the Bhasa's plays through Kudiyatam are shown. So it's a living theatre, it's a UNESCO's living theatre tradition.
Oh.
So 2300 years Sanskrit theatre it is. So in my village, in these temples, this comes. I have seen Urubanga, of Bhasa's, of Kudiyatam or taken under.
Kudiyatam. It is it is still
It's a
conserving
living
the
theatre.
actual Sanskrit. Yes, yes.
Yeah. It's a theatre. So Bhasa is there and Vyasa definitely because see which author gets this kind of thing. No, he writes a book. It is about his grandchildren, great grandchildren, and when he runs out of characters, he enters the story and makes the children so that the story will continue. No author can do that, and that kind of privilege. He goes inside. Dhritarashtra, Pandu, Vidura, all of them he makes. So
Yeah.
that is such a way of telling stories also. So anytime Vyasa and Rebel both from
And
So yeah,
Okay.
I have a question.
yeah,
What are you currently reading?
yeah.
what
What are you currently reading?
recently I'm reading now two books. One is this
Oh,
Kill.
kill.
Oh,
Let's
Okay.
kill Gandhi. Let's kill
Let's
Gandhi.
see.
by Tushar Gandhi and another one a long journey, Rohinton Mission.
Oh,
oh, all right. Okay, wonderful.
both brilliant books.
So you talked about the author and the books. Any book which you will recommend the Read A Kitab community members to read, like apart
I can
from the Asura Way,
recommend
definitely this book is there.
15 books. Asura, Ajay, Bahubali, Vanara, Naladari.
That's so fabulous, Anand, and it was such a pleasure to talk to you a second time here at Read A Kitab. So we are extremely delighted to have you here, and such a great time we had discussing. And I'm sure we are talking much enough about the Asura Way. We are also posting a lot about it. I want everybody to pick it up, read, raise questions. Ask Anand, if you have any questions, write to him, follow his Instagram handle, and you can write to him, ask him. Also, such amazing publication houses like Jeko publish this book. So, go ahead, read this book, share your ideas, share it with us. And yeah, with that said, thank you once again, Anand. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you,
us today.
Anand. It
Thank you,
was a
Anand.
pleasure talking to you.
It
Thank you
was a
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
you.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
For those who have missed watching this, you can still watch it on our Instagram. We'll be posting it, and this will also be live on YouTube within a couple of days. So you can also check out it on the YouTube channel. This interview is going to be there, and you are going to learn some great things from this. So, yeah, thank you so much, Anand. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Bye.